When you make an ask, it's not even an ask. It becomes an invitation, or they automatically just go like, how can I help? You don't have to. It is never a point where like, hey, can I get $1 million, please? Can I get like? No one ever does that. That's not what happens. They feel moved to give because they have seen you along this beginning, middle, and now end, and they have come to the conclusion that they're going to give you this. But it's all triggered on how they felt, what they read about, how many updates you gave them, how many times you said thank you, how many times you just stopped by to say hi, give you an update instead of asking them for money. That rapport means a lot. Mm-hmm. Over the
Hey, story makers, and welcome to Tellwell the podcast, where we're inviting you into some conversations that we get to have with our story makers every day. Our story makers are our friends, colleagues, our clients, and today we have a very special episode of Tellwell the podcast, where we're doing a series where we're previewing some of the incredible speakers that are going to be at Well Told, the nonprofit storytelling conference, coming up April 24th in Fargo and virtually. And today, on this very special edition of Tellwell the podcast, we have one of my favorite humans, one of the finest fundraisers in the land, Patrick Kirby.
Me? You. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
Absolutely. Patrick Kirby of Do Good Better Consulting. I'm so excited to have you here because I think one of the things that I was really, really excited about when thinking about this event was thinking about the Do Gooder conference from years ago and just like the energy and the excitement and all those things. And those are some of the things that we want to bring back to the nonprofit community here in Fargo.
I'm really excited. I have not done a conference. We haven't hosted a conference. We haven't had a thing here in a while, specifically for nonprofits. And this is going to be a blast. You and I talk about this all the time where nonprofits, if they can get their story right, if they can tell it to the right human being, fundraising becomes really easy. And so that's kind of what we talk about all the time at Do Good Better. But this is going to be an actual conference where you get real actual things that you get to use on a day-to-day basis and really hone in on your mission, hone in your storytelling, hone in on your calls to action. And that's really going to make you a lot of money for your nonprofit so you can do more good, which is exactly what we're trying to accomplish here.
So I love that pitch. You're pitching the conference better than I ever can. But I want to back up a little bit because Do Good Better is celebrating. How many years have you been doing?
We'll be 8 this year.
That's incredible. 8 years is a long time to do anything. But I want to start with Do Good Better. Where did Do Good Better come from? Where did you come from? How did you get to doing these things that you're doing? And let's start there and let's just see where it goes.
So Do Good Better was we're a nonprofit consulting group. We help nonprofits raise money. That's what we do. We help them suck less at raising money. And I say that nicely because everyone becomes an accidental fundraiser, right? You go to a nonprofit, you want to make the world a better place. You want to make impact on your community. You want to solve a problem that the government can or won't do. And then somewhere along the line, someone says, we have to raise money for that. You're like, I don't know how to do that because nobody goes to school for this kind of stuff. So I've been in the nonprofit realm for 20 years. I graduated college with a politics degree, which meant I was unemployed. So I said yes to him first ask at my old high school doing fundraising and alumni stuff. And then I went to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And then when I moved up to Fargo, I worked at the Ann Carlson Center, which is this wonderful place. And it was probably the best job that I ever had. And then I was like, but I really want to help a lot of organizations. How do I do that? So I just made up a job and I do that now, which is I go to places and have a bunch of clients that I just help try to craft their story. I help them sort of navigate their fundraising game plans. And that's really where I live 97% of the time. And then the rest of the stuff I kind of just talk and podcast and write and that kind of good stuff too. So it's a passion project of mine because I'm obsessed with it. It's all I talk about. It's all I think about all the time. And that's where Do Good Better is.
You have no energy around fundraising
None.
At all.
It's very boring to me.
Story.
Yeah,
very boring. You can tell just by the energy I bring every day.
I wish I had a better vibe for you. I really do.
So, okay, I have a question, and this might be like a positioning thing as much as anything. The word consultant can be a four-letter word, right? Because there are a lot of consultants out there that are not very good practitioners, and because they're not good practitioners, that's why they get into consulting. However, that's not you. You were really, really good at raising money, and you still are really good. And so I'm curious, can you just dig into that a little bit? Because you're not just a traditional consultant that's like, hey, here's my playbook, go do it. If you don't follow it to a T, I'm going to say, oh, you didn't do it. But if you did, and you did really well, I'm going to take all the credit for it. Like, that's not your style. I've seen the organizations that you get to work with, and that's not how you operate. That's not your MO. So I'm curious, can you talk a little bit about how, like, being a really good practitioner also is making you a really incredible consultant?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I think knowing all the pain and torment that it is to be a development director or someone in the marketing world for nonprofit work, and just remembering every single week that I'm on the calls with everybody else, knowing that they've got 10,000 other things to do because I had 10,000 other things to do, but still managed to raise a boatload of money, is where I center myself every single time that I work with organizations. So it's super important to me that we meet on a regular basis. We hold ourselves accountable, that we are always adjusting our strategy and plans. This isn't like a, hey, we meet once a quarter and you pay me a bunch of money kind of bit. This is we're meeting like once or twice a week, and we are honing in our benchmarks, and we're talking about what's working and what's not, and adjusting on the fly, rather than like, hey, do this and then I'll see you later after you send me a check kind of bit. Because I've never liked that. I've always been involved with a lot of consultants like that too. And I was like, I got a gross feeling about it. Plus, I don't feel fulfilled about it either. And I think that's half the battle. Really good consultants and really good people who are practitioners of the craft miss being in the trenches. So I refuse to get out of the trenches because I am as passionate or more sometimes than you are as the nonprofiteer, because you're burnt out, you're busy. So you need almost this internal cheerleader to go, you realize that your mission is amazing, right? Like, you realize that what you're doing matters, right? And sometimes they don't. They forget because they've got another report to do and they've got another event to make. And it's outside of their remembering that this is amazing work, and I'm responsible for making sure that they are as enthusiastic about what I am about their mission being important.
Yeah, I love that approach of cheerleading, and I think it's one of my very, very favorite roles to play, because we have a team of 13 or 14, so I don't actually get to interface every single day with some of the incredible nonprofits that we get to work with. But one of my very favorite things is to just like stop those executive directors, stop the development directors, and say, hey, by the way, this is incredible stuff. You're doing this every day. Our job, because I think part of it is people give us so much credit as like we created something out of thin air. And that's not the case at all. Our job, and the reason that we refer to our clients as our story makers, is because they make the stories every day. We just have that little tiny skill set on the side that says we get to help you tell those stories. We get to pull those out of you. And like, we just get to be the cheerleaders for them every day. And that is what gets me so excited.
It's why I have the best job in the world. This is the best thing in the entire world. I wake up and I get pumped to who I get to chat with today. I get to remind them and celebrate with them. I mean, you know this better than everybody else. Even if you had a really successful fundraiser, the nonprofit is going to go, God, what did we do? And what can we do better? And what can we do this? You're like, that's not how I want you to think. You got to pause and celebrate some of those wins. Your donors want to celebrate wins. Your donors want to hear all the impact is. I know you've got another thing to do, but hey, time out. Let's brag a little bit. Let's have a good time partying about your big, celebration and you actually crossing this, whatever thing that you accomplished. And then now we can go out and raise more money and do more good.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and I think you'll navigate through it fine. If we need to edit something, that's fine too. But
we're one take here, Max. We're one take here.
One take wonders. I've never been a one take wonder. I'm like, I need you to get rid of my ums. I need you to get rid of my shits. I need you to get rid of all. Anyway, I'm curious, over like the years that you've been doing this, I know you did some of this with Ann Carlson Center, you did it with cystic fibrosis, but I'm curious if you have like an example or two where you have seen the power of story kind of transform a donor from like maybe an average donor to somebody that's like, oh, I'm like a champion for this organization.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think I'm going to start with this as a caveat. Number one, stories they may take a while to take root, right? So some people are moved right away. Let's just say it's in the moment in an event, right? You're like, oh, that was just absolutely heartbreaking or inspiring, and I'm going to give. A lot of the storytelling that we know better than most people, because we're in the trenches all the time, is that it takes repetitive, different stories and impact just to kind of build up this trust and this understanding and this love and adoration for your organization. So I'm reminded all the time of a story. When I was working at the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, we did a gala every single year. This was one of those events that everything that needed to happen happened better than we expected it to happen and raised a ton of money. So we had to raise more money because we were doing research for a brand new drug, and we needed to double our revenue essentially. We had given and honored that year our title sponsor for the event for a number of years. We gave them an award, right? So the CEO and the owner of the company was there in a seat at the table that he was getting an award at, that he's been a sponsor of for 5, 6, 7 years total. He's heard the stories of success because his vice president had a child with cystic fibrosis and saw the struggles and the triumphs and the trials and the tribulations and the joy and the pain, all those kind of things. And we hounded him and his business for years about how they made a difference. They made an impact. That was it. So we had built this relationship up for years. And he ended up, we would auction off a puppy every single year. Like a brand new 8-week-old golden retriever, like that's
What?
The type of puppy. Yeah, listen, I'm part of the Homeward Animal Shelter board. I understand like this sounds terrible, but the guy who bought it every year,
incredible.
Right? But the guy who buys it every year, who bought it every single year, would bring it out to his ranch out in Montana. So these dogs have a better life than you and I do. This is a thing, right? So we start bidding on the puppy, and the guy who's being honored is bidding up this puppy. And it's going from like $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 to $40,000 to $50,000. It went for $60,000.
What?
And then immediately turning around and giving a $50,000 donation for our fund a need. And his wife bought like everything in our silent auction. And the reason he did that was because we had told him stories and he knew exactly where his money was going. And he knew the power of story. And this was his last year as the owner. He was passing it on to his company, his son, to run the company. This was his big splash. This was his big thank you. This was his big goodbye. And he knew the story. Like, if you ever want to know about like a great way to like go out and what a great ending to a story would be, this is it. So he understood and recognized, he understood the assignment. He recognized what he needed to do and came out with a big splash. But the reason he gave so much and the reason he gave a damn so much was because he saw and felt and embedded into the story of this actually matters. I need to do something and I need to go big. And I saw it firsthand. I'm sitting in front of the stage watching this banter go back and forth. I'm seeing his hand raise up 100 times. Everybody got emotional about it. And that spurred more giving in one night than we'd ever seen in the last 10 years prior. And it was like one of the most magical moments. I'll never forget it. Our auctioneer, who I still talk to this day, will never forget it. We tell that story to everyone we talk with. It's the power of getting your story right consistently over the course of years. And then when the moment happens, all the pieces come together. It's amazing.
That's so good. To me, what it triggers for me is we talk a lot about different phases of storytelling and the different kind of time frames and basically what's the story funnel. And the way that we introduce this is introduce your brand, educate on your DNA, engage, make the ask, and remind. Remind people that you love them so that way they remember that they love you. And what that is to me is a perfect example of you guys cultivating those remind stories over a number of years to say, when it comes time to leave my legacy, I don't even need to think about where I'm going to go. I know where I want. to give my legacy. It's with people that have honored and respected and reminded me that they love me, so I can remind them that I love them too.
Max, the best part about this too, though, is that when you tell a story like that and when you build a relationship through storytelling and how you explain where your impact goes, when you make an ask, it's not even an ask. It becomes an invitation, or they automatically just go like, how can I help? You don't have to. It is never a point where like, hey, can I get $1 million, please? Can I get, like, no one ever does that. That's not what happens. They feel moved to give because they have seen you along this beginning, middle, and now end. And they have come to the conclusion that they're going to give you this. But it's all triggered on how they felt, what they read about, how many updates you gave them, how many times you said thank you, how many times you just stopped by to say hi, give you an update instead of asking them for money. That rapport means a lot.
I love that. I think this is already a mini masterclass in what it is to do fundraising through story. And story is the foundation of good fundraising, which is why the Nonprofit Storytelling Conference is existing and why we're bringing it here to Fargo. But let's get into that. I do want to bring you on again, because as we're kind of like revamping like the purpose of Tellwell the podcast, what we're going to do is we're focusing on fundraising. We're focusing on nonprofits. We are trying to like invite people into those stories and give people the tools, the tips, the tricks, the confidence to get out there and share their stories more. So I would love to have you back on for that.
Just say also, when. I'm in.
I just love to see you, you know. But let's get into the conference itself. And so Patrick, you are going to be hosting our lunch hour, which we are lovingly calling Nonprofit Therapy Time. And so we're going to have a velvet couch on the stage. You're going to be there. We're going to have people submit both online and in person some of their challenges that they're working on. And so can you just kind of like give us an appetizer of what this is going to look like? What's it going to sound like? What can people expect?
So I've found over the years that I've been doing conferences and speaking gigs and whatever, the best part, the things that actually move the needle forward are getting people answers to roadblocks that they have. Because you'll go to a conference and you will be moved by the speakers. You're like, God, that was so good. That was great. And that, right? And you take all this wonderful inspiration and you go home and then you open up your email and everything in your inbox has nothing to do with what you just learned, and you can't do anything with it because there are things there you have to get done. And sometimes you come to some of these conferences, you're like, I just need one answer. And if I can get that answer, the dominoes fall for me to do it, right? So I don't know what to say here. I don't know how to build this relationship here. I don't know what to put on this. And if you can get that figured out, everything else is super easy. And so I've lovingly referred to this as therapy, in which we just sit there and go, what do you have that you think is a unsolvable or a seemingly unsolvable problem? We're going to help you. I'm going to take the 20 odd years that I've got in the nonprofit realm. There's not likely to be a question that you have or a situation that I have not seen, dealt with, navigated through, fought through, etc., that we're going to help you find a pathway forward. And then you can take everything that you learn for the rest of the day and actually apply it because that one thing was solved. And everybody's got a seemingly unsolvable thing. I know you do. It's okay. And by the way, if you're brave enough to say it out loud, I guarantee you there's a bunch of other people in the room that go, thank God that person asked, because I've got the same question too. And you can feel this sense of relief. And it's so fun. And it's just get it out there. Don't get it all clogged up. I'm an amateur therapist at best, but I know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to nonprofit stuff, and especially when fundraising issues. And this is the most fun way that I have ever found to just navigate that world. It's going to be an absolute blast.
It is going to be a blast. And I'm so excited to welcome you to the stage. You're actually our only local speaker, which I'm super excited about, because I think sometimes we don't give as much credit to the incredible nonprofit community that we have and some of the incredible fundraising consultants and marketers and storytellers that we have in our community. But I really wanted this to kind of be purposefully curated to say, like, let's hear those voices from outside in the hope that like next year and the year after, and maybe like ongoing, we can infuse some more of these local voices that recognize that they have a story to share as well. So I'm really excited to have you as like the only local that will be a part of this, but we also will have a nationwide audience. We're partnering up with DonorDoc, who you also love. And so will also be another very exciting thing that I think will be happening like a week or so before the conference, which is the launch of something important.
A brand new book that I just wrote?
A brand new book that Patrick Kirby wrote. Yeah.
Ah, there it is.
How convenient.
How convenient. It's sitting right next to me, this last edited version of Fundraise Like a Fifth Grader, which is the brand new book that gets released March 17th on Amazon.com. I'm very excited about this. It's been in the hopper for a while. One of my favorite things, I think I'm good at two things. I'm good at fundraising, and I'm good at being a dad. So like I combined superpowers together. I said, let's just write a book about that. But it occurred to me years ago, I started this, like I had a blog about this, which is like, we should fundraise like fifth graders because they have no fear. They are unbelievably curious. They're team players when they need to be. They have all these like little traits as kids. We've forgotten them as adults. We have been told that we're not supposed to do that, or there's an issue with our enthusiasm, or there's an issue with our passion, and we should just tone it down, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that shouldn't be the case. So this entire book is dedicated to all the traits that we had as kids that we probably have forgotten, and if you use them, it's going to be way better and way easier for you to fundraise, and I'm really pumped up about it. So.
Fun fact, and I don't know if we've actually talked about this yet, but part of what we are hoping to do at Well Told, the nonprofit storytelling conference, every person in the audience is going to get a copy of Fundraise Like a Fifth Grader.
It's there for you.
I was like, where's the
sound effects?
It's
gonna be wonderful, and I'm excited that this is an opportunity to get this into people's hands, because this, to me, when you're lost and you just need a little bit of inspiration, you can comb through the big books that are very academic, they're very like East West Coast kind of like Ivy League sort of things that don't apply to the small or medium sized nonprofit that we really want to help out. This is just tangible takeaways you can get, and I'm excited about it to no end. And here we freaking go.
We are so excited to have you at Well Told. We're so excited for Fundraise Like a Fifth Grader. If you want to register for an in-person, you will get a copy of Fundraise Like a Fifth Grader. And if you use the discount code podcast, it's actually going to knock it back to early bird pricing. So it's going to save you $200. So we'll bring it all the way back to $97. And there is so much value that you're going to get. Like it's not even close. Like there's like between all of the speakers that we have, you are going to get like $1 million worth of consulting. You're going to get to $30,000 worth of ideas, and you're going to get probably 3 or 4 books that come along with this. And so we're so excited. So $97 if you use the discount code podcast at welltoldconference.com.
You can't afford not to go.
You can't afford not to go.
You have to.
It's going to be so great. I think one of the other cool things that Do Good Better has going on is your online community. Can you tell us just a little bit about that? And then also tell us, how do we engage with Patrick and the Do Good Better community?
We do have a Do Good University, which is kind of our online thing. So we've been doing, again, we do webinars and podcasts and all that kind of stuff. We're like, how on earth do we like put this into one place? We put it there. So it's a Do Good University. And so it's a cool membership site. We'll talk about that probably when you, next episode. But that exists just because not a lot of people have the time, or maybe they don't have the resources to hire like a consultant or a group like myself. Well, then now you've got access to all the templates and tips and tricks and webinars and things that we've already had for years and years and years, like hundreds of hours worth of stuff. And it's super fun. And of course, there's like a soundboard, and you get to like hop on with me every week and have an Ask Me Anything, which is kind of like a therapy session every week. So it's a super cool thing. I'm really excited about that, and have been for a very long time. So that's awesome too. Yeah.
Awesome. Where do people find the podcast? Where do people find Patrick?
You can find everything at dogoodbetterconsulting.com. Easy. dogoodbetterconsulting.com.
Easy peasy. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us on the special edition of Tellwell the podcast. We're so excited to have you at Well Told. We're so excited to take your brain and give all that knowledge to people that are doing so much good out in the world. We are, as you say, we are creating an army of do-gooders, and we're so excited to welcome everybody to Fargo. So, Patrick Kirby, thanks for joining me on Tellwell the podcast.
Thanks, friend. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for tuning into this special Well Told edition of Tellwell the podcast. If you're ready to transform how you share your mission, join us on April 24th in person in Fargo or virtually for Well Told, the nonprofit storytelling conference where powerful missions meet masterful storytelling. If you're interested, make sure to use code podcast at welltoldconference.com to unlock early bird pricing. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, communicator, or mission-driven entrepreneur, this intimate hands-on experience will help your impact become impossible to ignore. Interested in sponsoring? Visit the website to see how you can support organizations working to grow and do the most good in our community. If you enjoyed this podcast, you'll love the in-person experience and the rest of the episodes in this special series where we're talking to all of the speakers and sponsors making this incredible experience a reality. When good work is well told, change becomes unstoppable, and we invite you to join us at Well Told, the nonprofit storytelling conference in Fargo, April 24th.